Today, I am really excited because I am starting a two-part series on how to go gray without cutting your hair. Okay, so now that you've decided to go gray, now you got to decide how you want to go gray. And I know that there are a lot of methods out there now, and they range from extreme to more subtle. The extreme end of it is methods like cutting your hair into a pixie or a buzz cut, or even shaving your hair, all your hair off. And the idea behind that is that now you're growing out and you're fully transitioned. The more subtle approaches are concealing, like with root touch-up, or they've got the dye strip method, where you use your part and you dye a section of hair that covers all of your hair while you're growing out your grays. And then once they're grown out, you flip your part and then dye that dyed part, you grow that out. So there's plenty of ways. I knew I needed to find the way that I would be comfortable with. And I know that I had several things in mind that I wanted to make sure that that technique involved, like making sure that it wasn't damaging to my hair. I didn't really want to spend a lot of money on this. I didn't want to have to cut my hair short, as well as I wanted to see fast results. And I know that sounds like a super tall order, but I guess where I was at in the journey, this was probably about 4 or 5 years ago. I was going to a hairdresser getting highlights put in. And I had asked her at the time, because in order to do my highlights, even though I was graying, she would color my hair dark and then do the highlights. So I had asked at that point, well, can't you utilize my grays? Can't those act as highlights as well? And I guess this was before, blending grays and this and that came out. And I was told that that wasn't, how it was done or wasn't possible. So I wasn't ready to go gray. I hadn't found a way that sounded like something I was really excited about doing. But then after a while, I did start hearing about, blending your grays, as well as I started hearing this name, Jack Martin. And I saw some of his transformations and I was blown away. I was like, I better start saving my pennies because that's how I want to do it. But then the more I started looking into it, the more I was like, this isn't really fitting the bill either for me. Because not only was it going to be very expensive, but it's also pretty damaging to your hair. The process that he uses is that, first of all, you have to go in with a certain amount of growth. So you're already like, I don't know how far along, if it's like 1 or 2 inches or however far, so that he can see what kind of pattern you have naturally. And what he's going to do is then blend your hair in with your pattern. And by doing that, what he needs to do is remove all of the artificial coloring out of your hair. And that's done with, color removers, possibly even bleaching if it has to be done. Because in order to get your hair to mimic gray hair, you need to lift your hair up to a level 9 or 10. And if you don't know the leveling system, it's 1 is black and 10 is as blonde as you can get. Well, gray is even lighter than that. It's like absence of it's white. And so even a 9 or a 10, you're still going to have a little bit of yellow pigment in that hair. So what you need to do then at that point is tone it gray, tone it with a silver. So this technique is getting out all the artificial color and then going back in, and the tedious job of weaving in and dyeing back the color to match your patterns. And yes, once it's done, and it's done in one day, but it's a long day. I mean, we're talking 9 to 14 hours of sitting there. Once it's done, it's beautiful. But this process does require upkeep, because you've just put your hair through a lot of stress. And anytime you bleach your hair, you're then fighting the yellowing process, the brassiness. So you will have to continue to not only tone your hair, but now that every hair on your head has been addressed and either bleached, colored, what have you, you've got to then baby your hair. So if you want to hear a little bit more on how you need to the upkeep of having highlights and lowlights, please check out my video, How to Maintain Your Hair While You're Going Gray. I do touch on some of the things that you have to do a little bit more in depth. So still at this point, there were some ideas that I liked. I just didn't know how I was going to fit this all together. I really didn't know what I wanted to do until I saw this woman on YouTube, and she's called Julie the Therapist, and she showed me how to do this, and it checked all of the boxes. So I was so excited, and that got me ready to start my journey. So please check out the second part of this 2-part series, and that's where I will go over the steps of this process. And this is the process that I've chosen for myself. Thank you for watching my video. If you liked it, please give me a thumbs up, and please check out my next video. Have a great day.